G'day guys, Neil here from Player One Sim Gear. In today's video, we're checking out the awesome new SGP sequential shifter from the team at Moser Racing. This has been one of the top selling items on Player One since it launched here in Australia about a month ago. Let's check it out and find out why. So let's start off with what you get in the box. Construction manual, and you got all the components well packaged. First thing you notice, really good solid feel to the shifter, and oh, that's really cool. That's a really solid metallic engagement. That's nice. Oh, and the other things in the box, of course, you've got the cables. So you've got an RJ11 cable so you can plug from the shifter straight into a Moser wheelbase, or you've got a USB cable so you don't have to use a Moser wheelbase. You can plug, it's got a USB-A port just here and it'll plug directly into the USB-B on your PC. Also comes with a bunch of screws and some Allen keys for fastening it down. All right, so if we look at the shifter itself, it's made entirely of aviation grade aluminium alloy. You can really feel that quality in terms of how it's put together. It's a really well-made piece of kit. It's got a high precision Hall sensor, which is what powers or detects the movement of it. It's also got the shifter knob on top, of course, which is replaceable. Height-wise, it comes in at 31, it's basically 32 centimeters high by about 18 centimeters long and about just over 5 centimeters wide. And in the packaging, it comes with M6 screws and washers. Total weight of it all is about 1.7 kg, which is actually pretty solid for a little unit like this. All right, so here we have the shifter mounted on my rig, and what I've done is I've just removed the flight sim control panel that I have on this side, bolted the shifter here just below the V&M sequential shifter, which is on my sort of everyday shifter that I use. Now the setup was literally plug and play in iRacing, so I haven't installed the Moser Pithouse software on this PC for this test. The reason being that I just wanted to demonstrate that you can use this on any rig without the Moser Pithouse software, and it recognizes it, just simply plugging it into USB and you're good to go. Going into iRacing, literally all I had to do was assign the shift up and down to the forward and back on the shifter, and then I was able to assign some functionality to these two buttons as well on the top, again both of which were recognized instantly. Actually kind of useful having them here. They're in a good position for your thumb to use, so that's a plus one that I hadn't really expected to actually be quite useful. So let's take it for a spin, we can see how it goes and do a little bit of a comparison between the V&M and the SGP. First thing I noticed is it's got a really good feel to it. It is kind of loud, definitely, you can hear it for sure, so that's something to think about. If you compare it to the V&M shifter, let me just get around here on the straight and you can see how the two sound next to each other. All right, so this is the Moser sequential. And this is the V&M sequential. It's probably not that much louder actually, to be honest. Maybe a fraction louder, maybe 10–15% louder. That was all the Moser, or that was all the V&M. It definitely has a hard kind of stop to it on the feeling. So the V&M one has got a bit of a, not gradual stop, but it feels maybe softer, if that makes sense. It's not quite such a hard, finite stop to the extension. But yeah, that's a really, I mean, it's negligible. The two basically feel very similar. You can feel that it doesn't have quite such a, that it has a maybe more robust mechanism to it in the V&M, but that's not to take anything away from the Moser at this point, at this price point. The Moser feels great for what it is, like really good. Now, one thing I would like to see is a little more adjustability on the Moser. You do have an Allen key down on the side here, or a spot where you can adjust it, but your actual ability to adjust the feel of it is pretty limited. You can maybe change it, 5 or 10% in terms of the stiffness of the shifting action, but ultimately it still kind of feels pretty much the same, I think. I couldn't notice too much difference before, like you can over tighten it to a point where it doesn't really work very well because you just tightened it too much. And the gap between that over tightened part and the stock feeling was pretty much same. So I wouldn't put this one down. I wouldn't say that the Moser SGP is what you call like a finely adjustable shifter. It kind of is what it is. Having said that, what it is really good. Like, it feels great. So that's not a knock on it. So yeah, pros definitely is just the metallic feel to it. I would like it to maybe not have quite such a hard stop at the end. I would like it to be a little more of a little bit, what am I looking for? Maybe dampening is the word. Just dampen out the very hard end point on the shift would be nice. That's probably just the only difference between the V&M and the Moser. It's just the V&M doesn't have quite such an abrupt stop on the end of the shift feeling, so it feels a little more, I guess, easier on your hand. Just if you're downshifting like that into a big corner, you're definitely getting an abrupt stop. But other than that, I mean, it's great. What it does deliver in spades is that feeling that you're actually changing gear on the car. You know, that feeling that you're actually engaged in the machinery of your race car, which is ultimately what we're always sort of looking for, I think, when it comes to sim racing, right? What we want is to be able to feel like what we're doing matters in the car that we're driving, and that we're trying to ultimately add a sense of realism to the experience. Oh, there goes me putting it into a wall. So, and this really adds to that. So if you don't have a shifter on your rig at the moment, if you're using paddle shifters, I thoroughly recommend getting a sequential shifter. It really does add to that feel of your connectedness into the vehicle itself, and to feeling like you're having an input into the mechanical happenings of the automobile in the sim that you're driving, which is really cool. Oh, I said automobile, what am I, like 50 years old? But yeah, of the race car basically, it feels like you're a lot more engaged in it, which is super cool. So look, overall, it's a big plus. I think the comparison between the two is just that probably the feeling of the hard stop on the end. I mean, this is, I said, more than twice the price for the V&M shifter, but you're getting a more elegant feeling in that mechanism. This is a not rough and ready, but this is a really robust mechanism, and you feel there's a hard stop on the end when you change. There's good spring back, no problems on that front. Overall, just a really good piece of kit, and then the buttons are a nice addition as well. All right guys, so final thoughts on the Moser SGP sequential shifter. Look, overall this is just a really impressive piece of kit at a fantastic price point. I think Moser have done an absolutely great job of bringing to market a well-made, well-constructed piece of kit that's available both for the users of the Moser ecosystem, but really also available for any PC user, no matter what wheel and pedal ecosystem you're in. And they've done it at a price point that makes it kind of a no-brainer in terms of an addition to your rig. At $250, which is what they're currently retailing for on Player One, you can pick them up right now on p1simgear.com.au below, with free shipping anywhere in Australia. This is such a great addition to your rig. You can have it on there whether you regularly race with cars that need sequential shifters, whether you want to add a sequential shifter option to an existing shifter setup. You might have an H pattern, or maybe you regularly use the paddles, and you just want to add a sequential option to use occasionally. At this price point, why wouldn't you? It's a great piece of kit, well made, it feels fantastic, and overall it's going to look really cool on your rig as well. So I'd like to just say a shout out actually to Moser as well for bringing this to market. I think Moser's doing a really, really good job at the moment of resetting some of the expectations around what quality gear is available at what price point in the market. So please Moser, keep it up, we love your work. Now if you have any questions, please let us know. You can hit us up in the comment section below. Please do all the usual like and subscribe stuff. It really means the absolute world to us and really helps our channel grow. Stay tuned to the channel as well. We've got a bunch of new content coming out, some of the new Moser products, for example, the truck wheel that's just been launched, and the wheel clamp, the desk clamp for that wheel. We'll be doing a detailed review of those shortly as well. So once again, thanks so much for checking out another one of our videos. I've been Neil, this is Player One Sim Gear, and a special shout out to one of our young fans, Georgie. Georgie, you're officially on YouTube. Cheers.